Hi people, welcome back to my channel. My name is Martha. So today power went off early in the morning at 8 a.m. Right now as I record it's 3 p.m. and power is still not yet back. That's why you're not hearing the noise of the water in the background. So you're probably going to hear the birds, you're going to hear students shouting, you're going to hear everything else but the water. And you'll hear me clearly this time around. Anyway, power is off. So during this time, previously, we had a backup system, a battery which could run for around 1.5 days. Then it got a problem. It started by, reducing the length of time it would go, and then finally it just completely stopped. Then it was worked on, another issue came up. So at the moment, long story cut short, the backup system is not working, and yet the system has to keep going. With a fish, they have to keep growing. So at the moment, what I do when there's no electricity, there's no backup system, that's really what I'm going to show you today. So stay tuned. So just a brief explanation on why I found this to be useful. When power goes off and there is no backup system, the fish keep consuming oxygen and they keep releasing ammonia into the water, so the water is not getting filtered. So this here is how the water looks like when there is no electricity. The water is not running out to go get filtered. So the solution needs to be able to reduce that ammonia buildup and also ensure that there is some more oxygen dissolving in the water for the fish to breathe. So when power is off, I manually pour water into the system. I use jerry cans and get from the tank, which is a trusted source for us. It's rainwater. I use rainwater and I manually pour into the tanks. It's possible to also use a pipe or hose or whatever you would call it, but ours, the longest one that we have, does not reach here, so I then just have to use jerry cans, small jerry cans, and I manually pour the water into the system. How does oxygen get dissolved in water? Basically, this is saying by direct absorption from the atmosphere, enhanced by turbulence. Now, if you pour water, it's going to be able to at least lessen that ammonia that's increasing in the water. And also, I try to pour it from up. It destabilizes the water surface and it's then able to put in more oxygen, more dissolved oxygen for the fish, such that they can breathe a little bit better. So let me show you how I do it. Get more water and I pour again. I do that like twice or until I really feel satisfied that okay, I've made a difference to the water. Now this particular situation has happened to me a number of times when there's no backup system, there's no electricity. And what I have seen, the times when I didn't pour any water, that's when I ended up getting some deaths. And the thing is, you cannot completely see the bottom so clearly. So sometimes you can only tell that, okay, you can only tell the effects of today, tomorrow, if you get what I'm saying. If let's say a fish dies, it's going to first sink to the bottom, then it will come up. Now that whole time of sinking to the bottom and then coming up can take a whole day. Now depending on the size of a fish, if the fish is still very, very small, it will really come up very fast. And the bigger it gets, the longer that period takes. So the fish, at the moment when they die, they sink, and I get to find out the following day. So in the morning, that's when maybe I can come and I find one on top. But that has only happened to me for this particular lot. It has only happened to me one. I've only had one loss when electricity went off and I found the fish dead. And it's to my understanding that I don't really think it was because of the ammonia spike or the lack of oxygen. It must have been another reason. And you notice when I pour the water in here, of course, it then starts coming out and it goes to the sump tanks. That noise that you're hearing is the fish. They were at the surface. They do that. They noticed me and they got scared. Anyways, how often do I particularly do this activity of pouring water? I do it as often as I can. Sometimes I try to do it an hour, every hour I come and pour. Sometimes it can be, sometimes I can pour like let's say at 11:30, and then at midday I just feel like coming and I pour. So I do it again. But at least what's according to not whether I feel like or not is I do my best to do an hour. Every hour I can pour. Every hour I can pour. Or if power happens to go off and I am not around, my people here at home, they know what to do. You just keep pouring water into the system. Now, this can also help in such a way that you have to keep adding water into the system whether power has gone off or it hasn't gone off. So this is also an advantage because you get to add water into the system. So also when power goes off, the fish starts, is it gasping or I think it's gasping, as you can hear. That means they come to the surface and they start gasping, trying to get the oxygen from the surface level. So when you're going to pour your water, don't immediately come and just show yourself to them and scare them off. According to me, that stresses them. So what I do, I first raise up my hand slowly and they notice it and they go down slowly, not more scared, and then I pour the water. I didn't do that now because since I'm already standing here, trust me, they notice. I've tried to record to show you how they are gasping. I was bending down and I come here like this and they were noticing. So that's why I didn't have to do it, because they were already not at the surface. So basically when power is not on, that is what you can do if you have no backup at the moment, and trust me, the fish will be fine. Now I'm going to give the other two to the down to the side.